Okay, so does anyone have anything they'd like to share this morning or ask any questions or comment on anything?
Yes. I wanted to thank you for the teaching today. It was really powerful and helpful, and I felt like it tied some things together and made some things more clear for me, especially kind of like the how emotions are tied, like our movement, and it kind of helped me see that more clearly. So I wanted to thank you for that, and then share an experience, which was I felt like a Ninja Turtle today. Um, so I love these practices because you don't know what you're going to experience. And that's like something I never thought I would say in my life, but it was true. Um, Doing standing meditation, I felt like the turtle back, but then I felt like I felt like the front part, and I felt like a Ninja Turtle, if that makes sense. Like before, I've been only feeling like the back, but then I felt like, you know how like in the Ninja Turtle drawings, it's like they have a shell on the front too, or like they have a thing on the front, and that's what it's like. I felt like that. I was like, oh, I'm a Ninja Turtle. So I don't know if this is making any sense, but
Yes, yes. When the body connects properly, you actually feel round all around, actually. And so and everything feels connected. So yeah, definitely. But what I didn't even talk about any emotions this morning. So what connected the teachings to the emotions?
oh, well, you were talking about freedom and movement, and it felt like emotions to me. It felt like emotions. If it felt like I could see, oh, okay, feels like emotions are movement, and then it felt like I don't know if this is the case, but it felt like it feels like what we experience as negative emotions is like an impedance in movement, and like allowing ourselves to feel it like allows the movement to like fully like allows there to be like movement or freedom, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That it's actually true. It's I think most of the time people are surprised because people don't realize that your feelings, your emotions, and movement are actually tied together. And so what you say is actually accurate. This is kind of like curious as to what specific experience allowed you to experience it. But yeah, it's actually true. Um, we don't realize that when we're, it's actually not true of positive emotions. Positive emotions is actually the experience of your emotions flowing through. And most of the time, we don't realize that the experience of emotions flowing through is actually the experience, of everything moving. As a matter of fact, actually, it's kind of interesting because the experience of negative emotions is actually where we're holding, our organs or our body in a certain way. And so that experience automatically translates to us holding our body. And so as we start moving, oftentimes we start experiencing how we were holding our body when we were not aware of that before. So it sounds like that's kind of like what you're talking about, that when you started actually just bringing awareness to your movement, you started feeling your emotions flow more, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes, well, and that contrast that you were just like talking about, that the positive emotions feel like it's flowing through, and then the negative emotions feel like where it's not flowing, and it's like the feedback to where it's not flowing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, very good. Very good. So thank you for sharing that.
So thank you for the context.
You're welcome. Okay. And so for the people who are listening in this morning, I was actually just talking about how freedom, the experience of freedom, is actually really nothing more than the experience of uninhibited movement. And that when we say we're feeling free, really actually we're saying that that our movements are actually uninhibited. And it's not until our movements are uninhibited that really we actually experience freedom. And we don't realize actually it has to do with movement. And relaxation is nothing more than the body being ready to move in any direction. And so when we are feeling caught up and tense, then we actually get to experience this lack, this lack of ability to move in any direction. And that's the lack of freedom. So it's not just any kind of movement, it's movement that can go in any direction. It's ready to go in any direction. So when you're relaxed, then essentially you actually feel free to move in any direction. And that's actually the experience of freedom. And so when we're experiencing freedom, we actually don't need to move. Because we just need to feel that we're ready to move. And oftentimes, we don't actually realize that. So, but real freedom is experienced when we're relaxed, and relaxation is when we actually are ready to move in a direction, or we're moving uninhibitedly in any direction. We can move, as you would say, freely. And so when our body is in that state where we can move in any direction, our body feels good because it's soft, it's supple, yet at the same time it's energized. And relaxation is not the state of being on the couch. That's actually being tired and recovering. And so most of the time when people think of relaxing, they think in terms of recovering. But someone who is truly relaxed actually is ready to move in any direction and is energized, because when the body is unimpeded and the body is free, then you are energized. And so you feel that you can do anything. And it's kind of like this feeling that you can do anything and feeling energized is actually the experience of freedom. And so it's a very different picture than what most people think relaxation is. Most of the time when people think of relaxation, they think of a hammock. And I feel that's a disservice to relaxation. I think we should just call that, getting into relaxation or resting or recovering. But, I feel like people have the wrong view of relaxation, because once you're rested up and then you're recovered, really then that's the only time when you're truly relaxed. Because the only reason we need to rest is because we have tension, and we need to let go of that tension. And once the tension dissipates and the flow returns to our body, then we're energized. And so anyways, so I just kind of wanted to just draw a clear picture of what to look for, that we're looking for this experience of freedom. And the freedom is the subjective experience of your body being able to move in any direction without inhibition. And that experience is really key to feeling the kind of experience that we want to have, in terms of just being alive and being free, which is really the same thing. So, and that relaxation is just the same state as movement when we're standing still. And the uninhibited movement is basically relaxation, because you're still relaxed when you're moving freely. And so it's like one is just a description of when we're in movement, and then the other one is just a description of when we're when we're not moving. And so anyways, I just wanted to kind of just create a clear picture, so that we know what we're looking for. And so so that we can identify it when we find it. One other thing is, I say movement, but it's not just any kind of movement, because oftentimes we are moving out of tension. And so if you have this desire to constantly seek movement, which is kind of the same thing as rushing, where you have to do something or you feel like you want to do something, most likely you're running from something. And so people typically vacillate between states of wanting to do nothing or feeling this urgency or this addiction to do something. And when you're truly relaxed, you actually are free to do nothing and anything, where you're ready to do anything and you have this natural presence of mind. And from this presence of mind, you are happy, because when you're free to do anything, you're just happy. You're just happy to move. You're just happy to be. And in this place, you don't need to do anything and you can do anything. And so you become present and you become appropriate and you become happy to be present, and you're happy because you're present. It's this relaxed state of focus. And we're looking for this state because in this place, we can be ourselves. We don't actually have to do something. There's the should goes away anyways. So this is the state of what we call relaxation. And otherwise, I'm concerned that people are going to just try and be in the hammock all the time, when actually that's really not the case. It's really to be alive and to be able to do what's appropriate in the moment, which means that you're doing what your system wants you to do, which brings you to a state of joy. Okay. Anyway, so that was just a quick recap of this morning's teachings as we're exploring our movements through the goal series. Okay, so now with that, anyone else have anything they'd like to comment on, or ask any questions, or share anything?
Master Kim, this is Jan.
Yes.
Could I ask for a point of clarification on what you said were the 4 components: the freedom, chi, being present, and the uninhibited movement? Did I get that right?
No, actually, so freedom is a subjective experience. So freedom doesn't do anything. So when people say free, really, you don't know what the person is talking about, right? Someone might say like when they're drunk, well, I feel free. So what that person is talking about would be different probably from when someone is talking about, when someone is, practicing Tai Chi, right? So now there might be components that are the same, but so from a Tai Chi perspective, freedom is when your mind is clear, like when you're in third eye. So when your mind feels present, so that presence, happens when you're relaxed. So it's a sign that your mind is relaxed. And your mind is ready to, think, but actually it's also ready, but it's empty. So the state of emptiness where your mind is clear, where you're not caught up in thought, but you're free from thought. And free from thought doesn't mean that you don't have any thinking or thoughts, just means that you're not caught up in your thinking. The thoughts come and go, and you're present with them. So that state of presence, so that's one. And then, so that's the state of the mind. So then the second thing is to experience the flow of chi, where you are experiencing the chi moving. And so that means that, so the chi movement, you shouldn't try and create the chi to move. The chi just naturally moves when your body's relaxed. It's a sign that your body's open. And when your body's open, that means that your body's relaxed, right? So the second thing you should be looking for is your chi moving? So number one, is your mind empty? Number two, is your chi moving? So it kind of goes in progression, because if your mind is empty, then you notice things. And so what do you want to notice? You want to see whether your energy is actually flowing. And in any area where the energy is not flowing, you know that it's lacking movement.
Okay.
So
And then we're in a, I know the last one was movement. So actually was there a third component, or did I just miss the
yes.
mark?
No, there was a third component. The third component is breathing.
Oh,
Yes.
I put it down as being. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So it's breathing. So the third component is breathing, and it's being able to feel the breath moving through your whole body, which is actually a type of movement, but it's a particular type of movement. And so you want to distinguish that out because you actually feel the pressure expanding through your whole body and the breath moving. And it kind of feels like the wind is moving through inside your body. So, it's like, in the Tibetan tradition, they call it the winds. And literally, you feel it moving through. And I actually really like that they coined it that way because I feel like it's really accurate to the experience. So it's to feel your breath. It's a movement of breath that you need to feel. And so when your breath actually reaches every aspect of your body, and most people think of breath in terms of the lungs, but the actual experience, if you're breathing really well, you feel your whole body breathing. And so if there's any aspect of your body where the breath is not reaching, then that part of your body is not free. And you'll notice that. So when the breath is free, then you feel your body being free. And so the third component is breath. The last component is movement. And movement, you want to understand it from a lack of tension, because that's how movement can be recognized when you're not moving. And then from an actual movement itself, where the movement is smooth, flowing, as we talked about, unimpeded. So that's the fourth component, movement.
Thank you very much, Master Kim, for that clarification.
You're most welcome. Okay, very good. Okay, well, have a good time practicing your freedom.
Thank
May
you
the
so much.
Tao.
Thank you,
welcome.
Master Kim.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Welcome. Okay. May the Tao be with you and have a good training today. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.